Okay, good afternoon, everyone, or still good morning a little bit. My name is Bobby Cruz. I'm Director of Athletics for UISD, and we've also been the S.H.A.C, the School Health Advisory Council chairs for the past 2 years. This is our second year doing this. This is our first annual meeting. And before we really get started, I hope everybody, we have lunch. Lunch is provided. You can grab it right now and eat during the presentation, or you can grab it on the way out. But we appreciate everybody showing up. Let me start off by apologizing for our first meeting. Our first meeting was scheduled on the 22nd. For those of you that don't know, we had a situation that caused all of our district, all of our departments, all of our campuses to be placed on secure. There was a threat that was made. It didn't come through, it wasn't made at the campus, it was made at another location. It wasn't specified as to what school or department or what district or anything like that. So out of an abundance of caution, we went into a secure mode. Nobody, it was business as usual inside the campus, but no one could come in or out. So on that day, and then finally we made the decision to reschedule this meeting. So I appreciate everyone being here today. I'm not going to take up all of your time because I know a lot of you are here during lunch, but this is our first one, and it's more of an introductory meeting. So what are we here for? The UISD School Health Advisory Council, also known as the S.H.A.C. Children and youth who begin each day as healthy individuals can learn more effectively and are more likely to complete their formal education. Responsibility for the physical, emotional, social, mental, and intellectual health of our youth belongs to their families and the entire community. Effective coordinated school health programs can contribute to helping young people avoid health risks by increasing their skills to make responsible choices about behaviors that can affect their health. At UISD is establishing an advisory council to advise the school board, and that'll be our role. It will assist the district in ensuring that local community values are reflected in the district's health education plan. The advisory council will advise and support the school's efforts to assess their needs. It also will design programs to help children develop the knowledge, skills, and attitudes they need to become healthy, productive citizens. A S.H.A.C is appointed by the school district to serve at the district level and to provide guidance to the district on coordinated school health programming and its impact on student health and learning. So our council is, it's by invitation, or a principal may appoint you. A school board member may also appoint you as well. It's free and it's open to the public. And this is our second year running it, but what I do tell people is that the S.H.A.C Council advises the board on the health, wellness, and safety of our students. Right? That's basically what we're here for. What are the duties of the S.H.A.C? As a member of the UISD S.H.A.C committee, you will be involved in discussions about important topics such as school nutrition. That's always a favorite. Physical activity and fitness, mental health, any new human sexuality curriculum being presented, bullying prevention, suicide prevention, physical health concerns of our students, substance abuse prevention, counseling programs available to our students, promoting a safe and healthy learning environment for all students, and strategies to increase parental involvement within our schools, within our district. And so these are just a couple of topics. Sometimes members of the committee, you as parents or guests, you can ask or you can contact us and email us saying, hey, I'd like to know a little bit more about what we're doing in child nutrition. I'd like to know a little bit about what we're doing at the safety of our campuses. What kind of counseling is being provided, access for our students. And we can bring people to present to you, to show you, to present to you as a public or as parents, exactly what we do at our campuses so that you can take that back to your parents, your PTAs, your booster clubs, your parent organizations, let them know, this is what we do at our schools, this is what we do for our kids. The Texas Education Code states that the Board of Trustees shall appoint at least 5 members to the local S.H.A.C. A majority of the members must be persons who are parents of students enrolled in the district. The Board of Trustees may also appoint 1 or more persons from each of the following groups or representative from a group not listed below. So our group can consist of classroom teachers, counselors, administrators, students. We did invite a few students today. They were unable to be here. Hopefully they will make our next meeting. We'd like to invite maybe two kids from each high school. So for a total of 8 students. Healthcare professionals, licensed or certified to practice in this state, including medical or mental health professionals, business community members, law enforcement. We do have law enforcement here today, or a firefighter as well. Senior citizens, the clergy, nonprofit health organizations, local domestic violence programs. And basically it's supposed to be a cross-section or a mirror of what our community looks like. And all of our members have schools, have children in our schools. So you'll see some administrators. We have a principal, an elementary school principal here. She has a daughter at a high school. We have Ari, a member of our community who used to be with UISD, who has children, had children here as well. You have 1 here as well. We have our PE teachers. A lot of parents had concerns. I know we went through this, and I didn't oversee it at the time, which I thank God I did not oversee it at the time, because a couple of years ago we had a human sexuality curriculum that had to be introduced by law, by state law. We had to do it. It wasn't just a Laredo thing; it was a state thing, and we had to choose the curriculum that we were going to implement with our students through our PE and health classes. And that was a testy issue, and that was a controversial issue, because there was a lot of misconception out there about exactly what we were teaching. And so this committee is crucial, and we're going to make sure that we teach what the state requires and what our community and our values are, that we reflect that when we teach it to our students. As we go, I'd like to introduce a few people on our staff that helped me put this together. Mr. Briones back there is our coordinator. He's in charge of secondary PE. Mr. Boteo, over here on your left. Also one of our coordinators, he's in charge of health, our health curriculum. And Ms. Roxanne Robledo is in charge of elementary PE, health also, and is a member of our wellness committee. To her left is Ms. Randy Covington, one of our assistants at the athletics office. So, welcome everybody. Our S.H.A.C is required to meet 4 times a year. And at the end of the year, we're supposed to actually meet. I'm supposed to present to our board as to what we covered this year, what our meetings look like, the agendas, and we report that to our school board at the end of the year. These are the meetings. This first one is an introduction meeting, so it would be relatively short today. And our next one will be December 6th. January 13th is number 3, and our final one is March 20th. Of course, all of these are subject to change, and we will communicate that with you. We have all of your emails, and we hope you continue to visit with us. Are there any questions so far? I'm going to skip because our safety presenter is running late. He had something come up. Of course, his title is Safety and Crisis Response, so he's probably in a crisis somewhere. Let's hope not. But he did text me a little while ago, and he'd like to go second. With that being said, I'd like to introduce our next speaker. He's very involved with the S.H.A.C, and I wanted her to be the first one to present, to show parents, administrators, our coaches, members of the public, what our guidance and counseling offers for our students at all levels. Now more than ever, I think we can all agree after COVID, there's a lot of mental wellness, a lot of anxiety. A lot of our students are going through a lot. And so I'd like to bring Ms. Melissa Ramirez. She's the Director of Guidance and Counseling. Yes.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. He's just going to open up. Oh, there we go. All right. So just a couple of things that I want to discuss with you today. We're going to talk about suicide prevention and what we do in our district for suicide prevention. We do have a suicide prevention program for all middle school and high school students. It's called the Science of Suicide program. And counselors have already started rolling that out. What they're supposed to do is at the beginning of the year, they know that that is something they're going to do every year. So they meet with the principal, they go through a classroom, and they make sure that they deliver this program to all of the students at the high school, 9th grade and main campus. Letters are sent out to the parents to advise the parents of what the topic is going to consist of. Parents can opt out if they do not want their children to view or go through the actual curriculum, and the students on that day will be put in another room. So that's what the counselors are doing right now for suicide prevention. Like Mr. Cruz mentioned, we are seeing a lot of students who, right after COVID, anxiety and depression magnified. You don't take care of that, it can lead into suicide. So not only do we want to educate the students in middle and high school, we also want to educate our entire faculty and staff. We do have 4 licensed professional counselors that we onboarded after COVID because we knew that we were going to be faced with a lot of, issues with our students, and we wanted to make sure that we were able to address those. So we have 4 licensed professional counselors, one per feeder pattern. So we also go and we educate our students in our lower grades that we need to be very careful how we address that curriculum to the students. And it's only the upper grade students, really 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade students. We also we also partner with our community as well. And what we did, and we do school-wide activities. I'm not sure if you have seen the 988, and if you haven't, that's why I'm going to go to mine, Bobby, is that okay?
That's okay.
All right, let me go real quick into mine. Sorry. Yeah. If you can help me go in here, and I'll keep talking with. Yes, I did. Go into the email. Yeah, and then I'll, but it's still going to ask me for access. I just sent it to you right now.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, no, but it's going to still ask me for access, so I need to log on my own. There you go.
My apologies, that's my fault.
Okay. Okay, so we also partner with our outside agencies, S.H.A.C, if you've seen, we have 988 banners outside. What the 988 banners, 988 is a crisis suicide hotline. It's a national hotline available 24/7 in Spanish and in English. What you get at the end of that line is a licensed professional counselor. And this is for everybody and anybody. It is Spanish and in English, and you can call, text, or chat. So that's what we're teaching the students. Also by law, behind all of middle and high school students, behind their ID, we have the 988 on there as well. We also send out information. We made buttons. I don't know if you saw us, but we did partner. We just sent this information out to all of our board members, all upper management, everyone. We also send them out to all principals, just to get that 988 crisis hotline out, because that's fairly new. That's only been in existence for 3 years. Normally when you call, before when there was a problem, you would call 911, but who would come? A police officer. And if a person is in distress, how are they going to respond with that police officer? They're not gonna open up. They're gonna be scared to do that. So President Biden was the one, and with a committee, of course, of people that created the 988, and this is nationwide, okay? So we do, anything we do on campus, we also want to, anything we do with the students, we also want to make sure that we educate everyone across the board, elementary, middle, and high school. Another thing that we have done for October is National Bullying Prevention Month. And it's also Fentanyl Awareness Month as well. So what we've done is we have, nationally, we've celebrated Unity Day. It's on the third Wednesday of every month. Of course, like everything, when you first start off, it kind of takes time to start spinning and everybody getting involved. This year we had great turnout. I'm going to show you a little video on that. We were able to capture pictures from all of the schools and also outside agencies. We cannot function, any district anywhere cannot function without outside community agencies that come in and support us. So we even had communities and schools dress up, in that orange. We also had the Child Advocacy Center show up, and you'll see them in this video that I'm going to show you in just a minute. Just the different activities that go on. Oh, I don't have that video. Sorry, I have the video on the bullying. But just like the 988, we send these flyers out to all board members, all upper administration, and all the teachers and everyone in the entire district, so everyone knows why we are celebrating Unity Day. And the orange, because I know that the schools get very competitive and they're like, well, why orange, And this is just the national color that they selected. And their rationale behind it is, if you see those orange cone is kind of like safety. So this is coming from the Pacer Foundation, so that's why it's orange, because people start debating, why orange, why not blue? So that is the reason why the orange is represented, and it's just to make sure that we send the message that we stand against bullying all together as a united front. The other thing I want to show you something. How many of you have heard David's Law? Anybody have heard David's Law? Okay, so at least some of you have, some of you haven't, and that's okay. So David's Law, David was a student in Alamo Heights in San Antonio who was being bullied. Comes from an affluent family, parents are very involved, they have a cohesive family, mom, dad, brothers. He was an Eagle Scout, but he was being bullied and parents never picked up on it. So David committed suicide, and the mother and the father, they were overwhelmed, but they didn't see the signs. They never saw the signs. And so students suffer in silence. So this video, I know it's a little long, but it's very impactful. So if we can get the lights, I'm gonna go ahead and show this video, because and this is something we're showing also at the high schools as well. I'm not sure about the volume.
Met David when we were 6th grade, 7th grade, about that time that we both had Coach McLaren as our select basketball coach. Wasn't hard making friends with David at that time.
David was my youngest son, and he was just a great kid, you know, adventurous, and he wanted to be like his brothers.
He was the stereotypical mischievous kid brother who, was just trying to run with the big boys. Just about everything he tried to do, he ended up doing pretty well.
We went hunting a lot and spent a lot of time in the country and went to ball games, and so he was really the only one around that wanted to have to spend some time with his dad. So we had a great relationship.
He liked being the center of attention with his friends. He's always doing outrageous things. I saw a video of him the other day where he swallowed an entire cupcake in about 10 seconds.
You know, he was my last child at home, and we were enjoying the fact that we were able to spend so much time with him. So we did everything with him. I mean, he was our life. And so when we found out about the cyberbullying, that's when, we took him to the therapist and knew that he needed to have some help to be able to get through it. I first learned about the cyberbullying one night where there was an Instagram post, and David came running down to our bedroom crying and screaming that, his life was over and he was never going to be able to go back to school. I got out of bed and I sat on the floor with him to try to understand what was going on, and that's when he showed me his phone.
It was attacks about him, his looks, and there were physical threats to him. Put him in a body bag, put him in a coffin.
I remember them saying, they were calling him an ape, they were saying, let's put him 6 feet under.
So that night of the Instagram post, he was so distraught that he could barely even hold a conversation with me. So all I said to him was, I want you to take screenshots of all of it, and I want you to send them to me. And I found out that it had been going on for months, that he just didn't tell us. And then it all kind of made sense of he was dealing with this really heavy thing that was happening to him. He didn't know how to tell us. He probably didn't think that we could make it stop or make it go away, or he told us he thought we were going to take his phone away from him.
A couple of weeks into the break, we have Christmas, and things seem pretty normal. I guess several days later was the first time I had been there while he had been targeted online. I guess we were all upstairs playing some game. He seemed to be having fun and, talkative. But then he sort of just got quiet for, enough, for a significant period of time. Enough so that we could notice something changed in the room. You could feel it. He shows Cliff and I what he had been added to some group message with a bunch of phone numbers that he didn't have in his contact list. And they were, they added him, they all sent, 4 or 5 messages each, all very insulting, very immature. And so they say all these things and they kick him out. Very brave. He doesn't have these numbers, and so he's just oh man, people at school don't like me. Now these random people I don't even know don't like me. There's no point for me, is what I imagine was going through his head.
I think by that point in time, he had undergone so much abuse that his entire perception of self had changed, and he was much more vulnerable to those sort of attacks, and I think a lot of people pointing him knew that.
I knew why he wasn't there, and it bothered me. I wanted to say something, I wanted to do something, but it's hard to step up and take on that role. One person can start something, and one person can, get angry, and unfortunately that person had people that were willing to follow him.
The cyberbullying continued even after David changed schools, and he no longer had social media, but he did still have his phone. And so what kids would do is they would take screenshots of it and send that to him through regular text.
He didn't want to go to class. didn't want to go to the cafeteria. And he just didn't give it a chance.
It was a Sunday night. He goes in his room. I opened my door, and his door's open, the lights on. I wasn't in his room. I go into Mom's room, and David's on the bed. You know, I can't find him. The cops get involved. Eventually, they are able to track his cell phone, and they pin him, you know, in the house. So I remember sitting up in bed, you know, putting my shoes on, and just walking downstairs toward the back door, opening it, and you look up, and I see Mom sprawled out on the grass, her father, like, having to hold her down. I see a cop, you know, examining David.
And the whole thing was actually like living through a nightmare.
Everyone's sense of self was immediately tossed into a giant mess of confusion.
Well, I was not there when this happened to David. I went off to have knee surgery out of state, and I was trying to get home any way I could.
If I could say anything to David, is that I'm sorry, and that, you know, I was here for him, and I let him down.
No, I feel like I could stand up. I would stand up for anybody. You can ask my peers or parents or whoever. And I'd give my life for the Molak family. And I know they would too.
I can't tell you exactly how many days after, but I did write a post. I wrote it on Facebook, initially intended to be just a way for me to release some of my own emotions about it.
Wanted to do something to honor him. So I got home, and my other kids that ended up writing a post, and in that post it was somewhat of a call to action. To me, it seemed like we were aligned in wanting to do something. We talked about David's legacy.
I didn't know the Molak family before this tragedy happened with David. You know, one of the things that we started talking about is how different bullying is today compared to when we were growing up. Nowadays, if the target of bullying, if they fight back, there's basically a zero tolerance policy for that, and a victim of bullying can end up getting punished just as much as the bully does. Families that try to reach out to law enforcement, and the law enforcement, you know, from the criminal side says, hey, this is not a criminal matter, there's nothing that we can do. For the Molak family, they took their child out of the school to try to remove him from the situation, and that didn't work. It still kept on, and you know, what else can you do? What else could a family do in this situation? As a lawyer, there are things that you can do.
That is when Senator Menendez, our local state senator, caught wind of it, realized that this was a growing problem, and he decided to act on it. He wanted to use David's story to help propel legislation to help prevent similar situations like this happening in the future.
David's law has now given the schools that ability to step in where, frankly, they need to. Bullying doesn't just happen between the hours of 8 a.m. and when that school bell rings at 3. Judges have a broad discretion as to make sure that their orders followed, and so that's where they can order fines, they can order community service, and through the court system, the legal system, that a judge can tailor the consequences in a way that accountability is, to me, twofold, on the parent and the child, to make sure that that behavior stops, because it is both of them. And at the end of the day, you really have two victims in these situations, and really both need help. What we've tried to do with David's Law is to have it in a way that it helps both kids.
David's Law would have helped me so much. The bullying started with an Instagram hate account where they posted mean things about me. Why are you alive? You have no purpose. They would target me through the accounts of my friends' social media accounts, and I would get anonymous text messages every single day. There was no way to get away from it. And that's why I was so happy to work with David's Legacy Foundation to get this law passed, because it is so helpful. I wish I had it when I was going through what I was going through.
You know, I wake up every single day, knowing that David is not here anymore. But if the work that we're doing helps another family or another child, then we've made a difference. And I believe that we all can make a difference in this world, but it takes effort and intention. And if we do that, then we have the ability to change the world.
So what we're doing in the district with David's Law is we are making sure anytime students come in to talk to the counselors, is if there is any bullying situation happening, that we give them the actual David's Law. There is a one-pager, and I believe you were able to get it at the front. It's in English and in Spanish. We make sure that they call the parents and they speak to the parents about David's Law. We're also asking all administrators to do this so that we can make sure that we get the word out. You saw what happened to this family. It was a family unit, very close. But social media is out there, and we do see a lot of cases with social media where students are being bullied, you know. Also sextortion, I do want to throw that in there. There's so many things, you know, human trafficking, so many things going on social media. So I just wanted you to be aware of what is going on in the district, what information is being disseminated to our students and to our faculty and staff, that they're being trained on this. And it is a very serious situation. I know 2 years ago I was called into an attorney's office, and because it is the law, and because parents, if you look at the back end here, if the bullying continues, right here it says there could also be charges against the cyberbully's parent. Okay, so not only the bully, but the parent if it continues. So it's really important to get this message out there, and just, you know, share that with your own children as well, because children act different at home. When they get to school, they're different as well. Okay, sometimes they could be influenced by their peers. And the last thing I just wanted to make you aware of is that October is Fentanyl Awareness Month. There is a fact sheet here. It tells you what fentanyl is, where it came from. We are educating by law. We have to educate our students as well. I know that we've had the opioid crisis team from the fire department come in, and they're doing presentations at all our high schools, educating them on fentanyl, doing some like reenactments, you know, finding someone who, you know, has experienced an overdose on fentanyl, talking to them about the Narcan, where can Narcan be found, how do you use it. We do have them on all our the defibrillators, the AEDs. There's a Narcan in every defibrillator on our campuses as well, just so, you know, for your information, just so that you know that. Halloween is coming around. Just please make sure it's something that we stress also to our elementary students, because candies can be laced with fentanyl, and it is very deadly. Okay. Any questions for me? We have 4 licensed chemical dependency counselors, 1 per feeder pattern, and like I mentioned earlier, we also have 4 licensed professional counselors, 1 per feeder pattern. We're here to serve you. Anything you need, you can reach me at 473-5248. That number again is 473-5248. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So the main objective of the S.H.A.C committee is, of course, health and wellness of our students. I couldn't think of anyone better to kick off today's meeting than introducing our guidance counselor and all the services that they provide, not just for September and October. Yeah, the kids get excited about October and the awareness, and they get to dress up, and it's Red Ribbon Week and things like that, but their work really starts early on, and they educate us, they educate our staff, our principals, our counselors, and eventually our kids. And so if there's an outcry, Ms. Ramirez and her staff are always ready, just year-round, 24/7. And these are just a tip of what our district provides for the health and wellness of our students. And I'm sure since all of you all have kids, you know, I tell my daughters that social media is a great thing nowadays. It's also a very dangerous thing nowadays. And what they see on social media is you know, just I'll share this with y'all. Like my daughters would when they were in school, they would always say, "Oh my God, Dad, so and so's life," or they're always doing this, always doing that. It's like they're just showing you what they want to show you, you know. And so don't believe everything on social media. But a lot of these kids rely on that, and they're susceptible to that. And a lot of their self-esteem comes from that. And I remember this case about David's Law, the Mallox family, because he was an athlete and he was out of the San Antonio area. So as athletic directors, we had heard about it, and so we were glad to see that something came out of that. Our next topic is going to be very brief. Mr. Ayala could not be here today, so I'll have to reschedule him for another day. But he did want me to cover a few items on S.H.A.C. For parents that are not here, I'm sure all of our employees, all of us were given this S.H.A.C. badge, right? Every member, every employee of UISD has one. And we've had it probably in effect for about 6 months now. And about 6 or 7 months. And honestly, parents, it's been a really good thing for us. It's been a godsend. We were trained on it. Everyone is trained on it. And if you push this button for parents, if you push this button 3 times, 3 times is the way we remember it. Is if you push it 3 times, means I need help. If you push it 8 times, 10 times, 20 times, or you just hold it down, there means we need somebody ASAP, or something's going on that is an emergency. Are we going to lockdown? Case in point, last week we had the situation where we had this potential threat. All of us have the app on our phone. We got it. We said we're insecure, and all of us immediately, within seconds, calling all of our campuses, because we were here at the time when that happened. We were in an administrative meeting, and all of us called our staff, and we went into immediate lockdown. That being said, before that, there's something that happened here. They were running a drill at S.H.A.C Elementary, and that's okay. They were running a drill. It was in the morning, and we in athletics, Gonzales Middle School was using our field that morning, so all the football players were on the field. Well, S.H.A.C was running a drill that morning, and they're supposed to, they made the announcement. Everybody knew that it was a drill, but they're on the premises here at the Student Activity Complex. So when that drill went down and that drill started, I got the notification. My staff got that notification that S.H.A.C was in lockdown. So immediately, the pool went into lockdown. Our office went into lockdown. We went and got our kids off the field and we put them in the locker rooms. We locked all the doors and we told them to stay in place until this was over, because I didn't know that it was a drill. And then eventually, about maybe 2 minutes later, we got the notification on on the app that it was a drill, and it was started by administrator so-and-so, and it was taken off by administrator so-and-so. And so, in my mind, I mean, but it's amazing how when you didn't have this, we were getting things by phone call or secondhand. And now it was immediate. On the flip side, I'll share this with you. We had a game going on here the other night. This was about 2 weeks ago, and one of our grounds crew was wearing it on his collar, his ID. And so these grounds guys, they're picking up things, and I think he got a sandbag or he got something, and he carried it, and it hit, and it stayed on. And so, and I was in my office that night, so we had a football game going on, and on my computer, it shows, and on the app too. On the app, it'll tell you where. You know, southeast corner of the S.H.A.C or something like that. But on your desktop, a map will pop up, and it'll show you a layout. And so when I saw it, I remember I called Mr. Boteo, so immediately I thought, something's going on. You know, maybe, and then I saw the groundskeeper's name, that it was his badge. And when I saw it, I said, Mr. Munoz, that's our guy. You know, so two things immediately. He's witnessing something and he needs help, or there's a medical emergency that he needs help. And so police went out there, I called Mr. Boteo. This is all within 1 minute. Police were looking, searching for him. He found him, the poor guy had no idea why he was surrounded. He was a little shaken up, but it goes to show you how immediate and how responsive that happened. Mr. Ayala will be here next time, but he did want me to tell you that these things have been a godsend. I know there was a shooting in Georgia where this system was used, and although there was a couple of fatalities, it could have been a lot worse because everybody on staff had it, and the second it went off, everybody knew what to do with their policies, and they went into lockdown mode. And today, on a daily basis, Mr. Ayala has informed us that we're getting anywhere from 4 to 10 alerts per day in this district. 4 to 10. And they could be anywhere from people running, people with medical emergencies, and then of course, like we had last week, we had a situation. But most of them are fights. About a month ago, we had a bus driver during a game that was witnessed students trying to break into a bus while the game was going on. Buses were parked back here, and people were and she saw it. She was inside another bus. She clicked, "I need help." We found her location, and she's told us there was some kids doing something in that broke into that bus, and that was within 2 minutes, immediately. So this is just the kind of examples of safety, wellness, security, mental health that our district tries to provide on a daily basis for our students. Right. Are there any questions? Anything at all? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I have a question about how that's used for children who go missing or leave the campus unknowingly, like children with disabilities. Like my daughter went missing one day in the elementary school and the button was not pushed. So like at what point are people advised to push that button when a child goes missing, especially kids with disabilities who don't fully understand?
That, according to my training, ma'am, I can't speak for anybody as well, but our training is immediate.
It is immediate.
It is immediate. That's something we shouldn't take very, very lightly, and that way, because if it's immediate, in case of a missing child, I would assume we would have to go into lockdown immediately to shut all the gates and not let anybody in or out. But that is, I'm glad you said that, and that is something that I will have to check with Mr. Ayala, our safety and crisis response manager. So yes, thank you for that.
Okay, and then like who is sent during, so like once the button is pushed, police are notified immediately from my understanding? And
Yes, ma'am.
they go to that location immediately?
If my understanding is if it's a 1, 2, 3, I need help, It's the admin, yes.
We have the yellow, the pink, we have this.
Okay.
That's what we,
They're the main
Those are-
ones that go.
like we had a kid go faint during recess, they pressed it and I got my alert and so
So the administrators are notified first, and then if the
If it's just
administrators.
3 times, it's first admin. If
Okay,
it's like continuous, then
Then
it
it's
sends
police.
to the
it
whole.
goes
Everybody.
across. Yes, so if
Okay.
it's the 1, 2, 3, it's just on campus.
Mhm.
If you do the 8 or the hold, then you'll have like
police, firemen,
police.
Yes.
ambulance, stuff like that, okay.
Me as a campus district administrator, I get to see them all. So coach, I know coaches at Borchers Elementary, Coach Bermez at Alexander High School, Bonnie Elementary. I invited them, but the reason I invited them also is why they're here is because they also teach the health to our kids. And so I thought it'd be great for them to be here. But me as an admin, perfect example, Safarini went into lockdown because of a drill. I got that notification, but nobody else did. But yes, it will go into admin first, 1, 2, 3, and then if it's constant, and it'll go out to everybody, and then they'll be sending the Calvary, should.
And then when are the parents notified?
Afterwards.
After
It
the police
depends how-
officers, I'm assuming.
I don't know if it was last week or the week prior. At my daughter's school, there was an incident in the cafeteria. Kids come home, they tell you their part. So, a little girl was choking. During cafeteria, instead of pressing "I need help," it's continuous. They got there, the little girl was not choking, she had a seizure. So, and I guess they did a hold, and then they're like, this is not a drill, it's a secure, but all the kids were scared. I guess due to the lockdown, and this is not a drill, all the campus was crying. Parents were super mad, and they get it. But at the same time, they need to, like, I guess, as a parent, I have a substitute, so I know what's in the back of our ID. But if you don't work or if you're not at the meetings, you don't know the protocols. So parents were mad because they were not called. Or why is there a lockdown? Something went down. Well, nobody can go in and out insecure. And that's, I guess, something that I tell the group. If there's a meeting, go to it. I don't care if they're repeating the same thing from the prior meeting. You might learn something new. There's one in November that's coming up, the summit. If you can attend to the summit, go to it. You'll learn a little bit more things than just being like my mom. My mom, she'll be like, what's going on? I'm like, well, I don't know. Like, my kids are not at your school, so I don't know what's going on at your school. I know what happens in my daughter's school and my son's school because I try to go to every meeting they have. So from there, you'll like sort of learn what comes to, I guess, lockdown secure, holds, and things like that. Because they hear a secure, oh yeah, but there are kids outside. Oh, but I saw a kid here. But I saw like a teacher go in, or things like that. And there's a difference from the lockdown to a hold to a secure.
No matter what they push, whether it's campus-based or district-wide, campus-based, we have had those emergencies. No matter what happens, when you push that button, whether it's 3 times or 20 times, Mr. Ayala in his office, they're gonna call that source immediately. Because when it happened here with my grounds guy, when it was inadvertent, Mr. Ayala called me within a minute. He was just like, Coach, is everything okay there? Do y'all need anything? Is everything all right? And by that time, so you're gonna get a call from somebody, regardless of what it is. And then in last week in that case, when we had that potential threat, I think there was a parent square that went out immediately.
There are
No.
2 or 3 parent squares that went
Yeah, they went out notifying everybody of what because that was district-wide, yes ma'am.
And that's what I wanted to add, that a lot of times, like, we hear it through the parent
group chats first because I hear it too. And a lot of times there's like a friend that's a parent that's an employee at the school and they're just trying to give you a heads up like, hey, everything's okay. But I mean, the school's first job and responsibility is to make sure that the children are safe. And when that's all done and in order, notify the parents in a timely manner. It might be different when it's like an individual case and it's like one child, but when it's campus related, that should be their first priority. And so I think that we all get anxious. You know, I'm in my office and I get those same text messages and I'm like, what's going on and why haven't I heard from the school? But then I have to, put my other hat on and remember that administration is trained and knows what they're doing, and so are law enforcement, and they're just trying to make sure that our kiddos are safe first and foremost. So I always have to remind myself that, so I just wanted to add that.
Yes,
I know,
ma'am.
as an ex-employee of UIC, of course, like on our badge, we knew what secure was, what lockdown, but have you all ever thought about sending like to all the parents just a little, like the sheet, just kind of like, this is what a secure is, this is what could cause a secure, is this a lockdown, this is what could cause a lockdown, that way they already know. And I think you should put what Cordy said about our first priority is the safety of the kids, and then we're gonna notify you all, because that is the first priority.
You just gave a great example of what this S.H.A.C should do. And that's gonna be our first recommendation. The question was this, and the recommendation from the S.H.A.C is that parents are sent out this, what does hold mean, what does secure mean, what does this mean, what does that mean? And then I'll share this with you all. I tell my friends and family, and I tell everybody, if something goes down and you want to jump on social media, only pay attention to the UISD page. That's it. And you're gonna just pay attention to that page and stick by your phone, because you're gonna get a parent square, you're gonna get an email. Those are the only sources when something's happening at our campus that you should get your information from. That's all.
Yeah, those WhatsApp chats can have like 200 messages in the first 30 minutes,
Yes.
20 minutes, and
Yes.
putting.
Sometimes the kids don't even know. Last week that they went into the secure mode, my kids got home and I'm like, so you all were insecure, this guy, da-da-da. He's like, we were. Yes, but you guys were able to move, from class to class, just nobody could go in and nobody
Yes,
could
nobody
come
can
out.
go in, nobody can go out, but it's business as usual. Thank you all. I mean, we've been here for an hour. I don't want to take up a lot of your time. This is an introductory meeting. We did invite law enforcement. Mr. Ayala, I'm going to reschedule him to go over some other safety measures that we have for our students. If you're first time with us, welcome. We hope you stick with us. There's only 4 meetings, and I'm going to give everybody homework today. I'm going to give everybody homework. You have to email us next time at our next meeting, which is on December 6th. Invite a friend, invite a parent. You get 100 on a test if you bring somebody. You get a homework pass, extra credit. We want to grow our committee. Since this is the second year that we're hosting, we want to grow this committee and get a good cross representation of parents, members of the community, to have these discussions, to have these suggestions. And in essence, look, y'all, this is the last thing I want to say. There's a lot of people out there that the forum for this is student health and wellness and safety. PE classes, physical fitness, mental wellness, things to help our students. The purpose of this committee is not to complain about the board or the superintendent or bring grievances here. That's not what we're about. That's not what we're about. We're about recommending. I'll tell you one quick story before I release you. In San Antonio, another athletic director told me, "Hey, do you run the S.H.A.C?" And I go, "Well, we just got assigned to it, so we're trying to do a good job with our S.H.A.C." And he said, "Be careful, man, because I had a parent that was a health nut." She was like, and I was like, "Okay, she want to talk about child nutrition?" He's like, "Not only that, but these parents wanted to ban all concession stand food at games." And she took it before the S.H.A.C. And I was like, oh my God. I don't know. Exactly. It was like, not my popcorn. But that was one of the things that the S.H.A.C. kind of introduced and explored. The other thing, again, we went through this before, we weren't overseeing it. A new curriculum came in, and our PE coaches, our health coaches were heavily involved in vetting that curriculum. But I want to thank you all for coming today. Remember your homework, please. Next time, December 6th, you're going to bring and invite a friend, a parent, a coworker, and hopefully Mr. Ayala will reschedule him, and we'll have 1 or 2 more. I like to do 1 or 2 topics. I don't like to keep everybody for an hour and a half to 2 hours. Parents, if there's anything that you would like to know more of that UISD provides for our students, or if you think that we need to do more, or you need more information on certain aspects, feel free to give us a call or shoot me an email, and we'll put it on the agenda for next time. All of you have children here, or had children here, or currently have children here, or will have children here. If you're in my case, you might have grandchildren here someday. Hopefully not for me for a long time, but you know, we want to do the best for our kids each and every day. Okay. Thank you all for being here. If you didn't grab lunch, lunch is right over there. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much.